Hey everybody, this is Dustin, your RV specialist. And so again, I'm still out here at lunch. I'm looking at a Grand Design Solitude S-Class. It's a 2022. It was built in 21. And so customer come in to do the Roadmaster Comfort Ride Kit and to do an upgrade. He's already had somebody else, unless it came with it, do the disc brakes. During our installation of the Roadmaster kit, and I'll talk a little bit about that as well, right? So he's already had the V braces installed from the factory because it's a heavier coach. So all three hangers have those in there. Now, while the guys were installing the system or removing the old system, they ended up finding some cracks in the frame. So when we say cracks in the frame, this is the I-beam. We're typically seeing frame cracks somewhere near the hanger area. It's either over the hangers, past the hangers, in front of the hangers, or even just random weird spots. So this piece of sheet metal is put in here, plated and tacked in place to help kind of reinforce that. Those V braces help to keep the hanger from moving around. And the guys have already cut and made pieces that are going to weld on here and go from one side to the other, from this leaf spring hanger to the following on that side. They're not 100% finished up with it because we're still working on that. They got to go back later today and add that to it. But, we take the time to go through and replace, like the Roadmaster kits, they don't come with new U-bolts. So we're actually put in heavy duty U-bolts. Instead of a 1/2 inch, we go to 9/16. And then we are, using the thread lock or the thread indicator to show you like, hey, where they're at. You guys go back and they do that to all the bolts. We usually try to do it on the inside so it doesn't be so obvious. But this system, this Roadmaster system too, before I go back into other, because I'm all over the place, but this Roadmaster system, depending on what kind of streets you're on, whether it be roads, cobblestones, dirt, whatever, they say that it reduces the suspension shaking, vibration, G-forces by like 50 to like 70 something percent. So we've put on literally hundreds of these systems. Everybody here is a big fan of them. We all love them. We actually we ignore a couple things that Roadmaster tells us, even though we love our guys there. But we take and we knock out the nylon bushings. We put in grease bolts back here, wet bolts, and we grease those. The springs are lifetime warranted. The shocks are lifetime warranted. We just want you to be safe. So basically, as far as wear and tear stuff, you basically got one bushing, you're going from 16 down to 4. So that there's a couple pieces up in here, but those don't usually wear out. Roadmaster does sell all their hardware to kits. And then this is something that's available for everybody. So every mobile RV tech, anybody on Amazon, any repair shop, dealership, anybody can get this system, and so it's, like I said, here's the shocks. You want to make sure that you mount them on the correct way as well. Sometimes people will put them on the back side instead of on the inside of it. There's a whole bunch of different shims and things that come with them to install, so make sure you're using all those. So back to what I was originally getting ready to say is the guys were doing the suspension and they came in and said, hey boss, we found some cracks in the frame. And so they found a crack in the frame in this area. And so part of the procedure is let's say if there's a crack here, is you would cut out and grind out the crack, the damage in the crack. You'd go back in and fill it with weld. You'd grind it down smooth. You grind up the whole area, clean it up back to bare metal. And then the guys take and they weld this plate on. And this plate, I'll try to get the part number. It's on other videos and on posts where you actually can see the bulletin from Lippert. But this plate gets welded. You can stitch weld it around, but my guys like to weld it all the way around. Then you go back and weld the eyes up on it, so there's 2 eyes. Sometimes the guys will weld up underneath, but usually if there's corrugated plastic or whatever, but they're basically welding the perimeter. That's to kind of help reinforce this area and build it up. And then again, like I was saying, there's crossbars that are going to get welded to the edges of this, and they're going to be welded to the hanger, and they're going to go all the way across to the other hanger. And that's going to help prevent the I-beams from moving and walking. And so this system here is a little bit more stout because everything's in this, what I refer to as the housing or the pumpkin. Everything's gliding in and out. So it's keeping everything more in a true alignment. When you had the equalizer on here before, the little pyramid, you had one bolt up here holding for the equalizer, and then you had basically another bolt holding the shackle link to another bolt holding a shackle link, and then on the spring. So you basically have like 1, 2, 3, 4 points of movement just on one side of it, which as those shackle links are doing this down the road, wallering and moving, if you turn too hard or too tight and you're pushing the coach, you're actually causing these I-beams to flex and move and bend, which could be what's causing these to crack. We've been finding them crack for a bunch of different reasons. Some of them have been because of flex and wear. Some of them have been from over-penetration on hangers on the backside. Some of them just randomly cracked. I mean, at the end of the day, folks, it's just a piece of steel that we melted down, threw into a casted deal to make it. So, it's liquid metal, so there's going to be flaws. But, hopefully when you go to a repair shop, they're checking it out. And then, again, I'm all over the place. So I'm going to go to a repair shop. So let's say hey, you're due for a wheel bearing pack, and you go to a Les Schwab, or like we have a buddy that owns a place called Bruce's Tire here where we send people when we're too busy. If you're going to like just a regular old Joe Blow, place, they're going to go in, they're going to do the wheel bearing pack, and they're out of there. Tires are good or bad if they sell tires. Wheel bearing pack, yes or no. Hey, maybe there's some brakes. Maybe they don't do a bunch of brake work. Maybe RVs are kind of somewhat foreign to them. So make sure when you go to a shop that you're going to somebody that's super familiar. I mean, just this past week alone, we've put 3 of these kits on. So we usually order them like 6 at a time, and sometimes we're going through those every 2-3 weeks. We typically do at least 1 a week, if not 2 or 3 a week, just because they're so popular, and there's again, lifetime warranty on the shocks and springs. And you can see different Facebook stuff or YouTube stuff where owners have actually had a problem where they've like hit something and broke it, or something failed, and they've said, hey, I called Roadmaster, and they 100% took care of them, no questions asked. So, which is cool. It's good to hear that feedback from our customers, and from people that are out traveling that aren't even around. So, so hopefully this answered some of the questions. Make sure that going back to the shop. See, I get sidetracked too easy. Going back to the repair shops and stuff. Make sure that your dealership too, if you're going to a dealer, that they're inspecting. So let's talk to this. Your hanger, is your hanger welded good? Does it have the V braces inside? Are those welded on opposite sides and tacked up to the I-beams? Is there any cracks in the frame? Besides when the guys get in here and they're looking at this kind of stuff, they're looking at like the Darko material. They're looking at the slide out rails. They're looking at the, I can't even remember what you call them now. Too much stuff I've talked about today, but they're looking at the gussets. They're looking at the aluminum. They're looking at the fender skirts. So you can see we take the fender skirts off when we're doing the welding and the painting and the suspension work. That way, if we accidentally hit them, because usually they're down here a lot lower, that we don't mess them up or damage them. We're looking at all the rails and stuff that are put on, and look how loose that guy is. So I'm sure Biggin will fix that when he goes to reinstall it. But, when we're talking about, the strapping, I did another video earlier when we were talking about the strapping, and look how there's just one screw holding that piece of aluminum there, and there's one screw that's self-tapped into there, which is fine. But if this one screw gets loose at all from vibration or wind or shaking, that's going to rip out of that, and then this is going to now shake all over the place. So like a lot of times when we're adding them, I like my guys to carry this up and higher and go on, and then put either a couple screws in it or a screw and a trifold rivet, something like that. So anyways, I'm gonna go back to work for the day and quit making so many videos. Haven't had my wife, we just recently had a baby girl named Callie Lynn Simpson, and so she hasn't been doing as many YouTubes since the whole pregnancy. So that's where you guys don't see like the opening and the closing and the hey, subscribe here and all that kind of fun stuff. But as soon as she gets some time, she's going to take back over, because I tell you what, I don't even know how many videos that I've done that I haven't thrown out. So as soon as she gets time, she's got a whole list of ideas and things that we're going to put on there to kind of help you guys. And then, of course, if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions for videos that you want to see, I mean, we're at a repair shop. We're at one of the biggest repair shops in Northern California. I have 3 buildings here, and there's 12 of us. So, there's basically 8-9 guys out here working on units all day long, 8 hours a day. So imagine what all the stuff that we're seeing on a daily venture, whether it's, upgrades, repairs, roofing, flooring, wood, water damage, collision. I mean, you name it. So, all right, well, stay tuned for more. And I always throw this out there. If you haven't already joined us on Grand Design RV Owners in the RV Shop with Dustin, we encourage you to do so. We put these YouTube videos on there. We put pictures and posts. We also ask you, the consumers, to throw anything that you're working on there. If you have a new problem and maybe we haven't came across it yet, we encourage you to post those pictures, throw us some videos on there. It could even be just a shout out video like, hey, Dustin, what's going on, man? I don't care, People always say, oh, hey, how come you're helping people? You're trying to make money and this and that. Folks, we make pennies on the dollars. I use it to buy my guys lunch. I buy them chips and sodas and snacks off the money that we make off of YouTube. So, but all right. Well, thanks again for watching, and you guys have a fantastic day. It's starting to get warmer out here in Lodi, California. Is where we're at. And so pretty soon you're going to start seeing all the guys in shorts, because I tell you what, I'm sitting in the shade right now, but sitting in that sun, it's already heating up. So, all right. You guys have a good one, and thanks again for watching.